Hi, and I want to welcome you all again to another episode of Holistic Love. It is your host, Fox Red Sky, your astrologer, your matchmaker, and also on this journey with you of personal development and really every day is about like expanding my capacity to be in healthy connection. This is a love. This podcast is about love, connection, but it's also about like how can we start establishing true, authentic connections and really shift the paradigm from this scrolling or superficial level to something that's much more deeper, much more fulfilling, and soulful. I have with me the amazing, fabulous Don Ray here, who is my co-host.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? Happy to be here. Happy to shed my light and learn and grow and be a part of the community. So, yeah.
Absolutely, y'all guys. And today's topic is just so important. I'm really, really excited. I have some amazing guests here in the studio with us today. And it's like dispelling this myth, right? Because like we have this idea that if you are beautiful, if you are fit, or if, that somehow, some way dating is easier for you, that somehow, some way you don't have to deal with all the drama or the toxicity that is in our current paradigm in dating culture right now. And I really want to have the masculine as well as the feminine perspectives, Don.
Right on.
And I wanted to introduce you to the lovely, gorgeous, amazing Ashley. Can you just talk to the audience and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Ashley, and I've been living here in Austin for 4 years and a half. I do a little bit of modeling and do events as well, but I've gotten drawn recently about personal development. I've been doing a lot of that for myself, and I want to share that to others, what I've learned and the work that I put in for myself, and I want to share that with the world.
Absolutely, Ashley. Thank you so much for being here today on the podcast. I'm really, really wanting to get into the juice and the meat of your own experiences, in Austin. I know that like Austin is literally the number one city for dating, but like it's also like kind of prolific of the problems that are going on all across the country when it comes to dating apps and just the superficiality, like this very casual, like nobody really wants to try. So I'm really looking forward to that. Just like, what would you say has been your overall experience here in Austin dating?
So I recently dipped my toes. It's kind of scary to even go out there because of what I've heard from my friends. I've always been, I moved in Austin in a relationship. I've always been a relationship girl. So I never really checked out the dating scene until now. But I see that it's a lot of people haven't worked in themselves. So they, instead of looking inward, they're looking outward. And they need a lot of people need to sit with themselves to do that. So, in order to find what they're looking for, because I believe you attract what you are. So a lot of people want a 10, but they're not a 10.
Man,
so how do you expect that?
Say that.
Yeah.
Say that.
How do you expect to have that? So I recommend to work on yourself, be the best version you can. So whenever you are, you're gonna attract that person, and that's when you meet the person.
Yeah, absolutely, Ashley. I think that is the cornerstone of what this podcast is trying to say, right? Is like that, like you have to self-actualize. You have to be in love with yourself, right? Like
100%.
That's what it's about before you can love another. But like, if you could share some of your experiences, like maybe some of the shallowness that you like. What do you think is the temperature here? Like, what do you think is like predominant happening here in Austin, Texas?
Well, fun fact, I've never been on a dating app, and I hope I never will.
Right on. Okay.
But I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and it's worked for some. And like, I believe like, before that, a lot of people have these apps, and they don't. Men don't. Not all men, but some men don't want to try hard anymore. Like by the third day, they're like, oh, like they want to give up. because if it's not going their way, because they could always swipe to the next and the next, and they lose the value of like the person, because they have so many options, so I haven't experienced the dating world, the dating apps, but I have experienced, like, I'm a very social butterfly, so
we love you.
I naturally meet people. Organically, I feel that's the right way for me, and always has been. And but the little that I've dated here, I just people are either going out every weekend and drinking. Drinking is also a very not good outcome, and that gives problems because you act like you're not supposed to, and anger and like, so alcohol and also like drugs can be involved, and so that can be a cause for it, that not working out. And then others are just too busy. For some reason, I attract stressful, busy men. Somehow, yeah.
It's your calm energy.
Yeah.
I think it's the calm, because I attract stressful,
Ladies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but stressful, lazy ladies though.
It's like the opposite attract.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
the last two guys that I've tried to date, they just say like they don't have time because they're literally 9 to 5 job, and then after that they're working on their side business. So by the time it's the weekend, it's like not they don't have time for even themselves. So they don't have time for a girl. So the last guys that I've, like, the last 3 guys literally, and I'm like, I think I don't know how I'm attracting these people, but I need to start dating different.
Yeah, and so I think that this is so poignant, is that we think that, like, if someone's beautiful, if someone's like a model, that it's going to be easier somehow for people, and obviously you're having, it's hard. It's just as hard, because really the underlying issue here is that we have kind of fallen away from traditional values. We've fallen away from any kind of like deeper, meaningful connection, and we all are experiencing this technology fatigue and this relationship, dating burnout, and it's just very, 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 obvious. And so, Ashley, I'm so glad that you're sharing this with us, because for our audience and for our listeners out there, and for a lot of people, there's this misconception that, oh, she's beautiful, then she must have like 1,000 dates, or, oh, she's beautiful, guys are just, jumping over themselves over the
guys.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the right guys on my DMs.
Well, I respect that, Ashley, and I'm really grateful for that. And and it's really important to realize we all have different perspectives, right? We all have different ways of seeing things, and it's so important too to have like the male and the feminine perspective of it. And so, Don, I would really like for you to bring on to the podcast our male edition, who's going to share with us the perspective of the female, or from the masculine side. So,
all right, guys, we got JP in the building for Pull Up Boys, artist, entrepreneur, mogul, boss. Happy to have him here. He's going to share his side of things on the divine masculine side of things, about what it's like to not just be an Adonis, not just be a beautiful guy, you know what I mean? But it's more to the area, more to that. But they have their own struggles. The grass isn't always green on the other side. So I'm gonna open the floor to him and let him speak his mind. So JP, take it away.
How y'all doing?
yeah, so just tell us a little about yourself too. We'd love to hear about you.
So my name is Jordan Protzman. I go by JP as an artist, as a model. I have been in a lot of relationships. Some my fault. Here recently, I've been trying to just, like she said, work on myself. Myself, it always starts with self. So I've been trying to like just point my fingers at myself more so, and not, make excuses or say it's because of this, but it's just because I've allowed certain things into my life. I wasn't protecting my energy. I was hasty in choosing who I surround myself with, and just not making proper decisions, and that's why I think I failed my relationships, and so that's.
Well, thank you so much
Yeah,
as
man.
a a beautiful man, you know, and thank you for owning up to those things and really sharing that, like, it's safe and it's okay to do those kinds of things, because I think a lot of times we're all afraid to even admit our mistakes, you know, and so, like, to me, that is the first step of actualization, the first step of really turning the page or starting a new chapter is doing that, and I appreciate that so much.
Yes, ma'am.
First step is to acknowledge it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and I know, and I really want to hear your perspective, because I know that, like, again, like we heard from Ashley, and she was explaining that, like, hey, I'm a model, I'm beautiful, and yet I'm still experiencing, not the greatest experience when it comes to dating. So, and that's the thing, is like debunking this myth that, like, oh, you're a beautiful person, oh, you're a real fit. It's, you're gonna have all these people after you, but it's like, is it quality? And, like, just sharing your experience like that, like, what are some of the negatives of being attractive and being an attractive man?
So
Like,
as
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
for myself, what it's been is assumptions. So the way I look, it draws assumptions by a lot of hurt women. I think that a lot of us haven't dealt with our past traumas, and we bring it into our new relationships. And I know for myself, I brought past traumas and baggage and things that I thought that my significant other should have dealt with, but it's not that way. We should do our self-reflection, and we should be a prepared and, I guess, ready product when we come to give ourselves to somebody else. We shouldn't. A lot of people are depending on a man to provide, or a woman to provide, or whatever the case may be, when those provisions should be already there for yourself. So it's a lot of, like she said, self-work, self-reflection, and I failed that, and some people are failing that process right now, and so they don't know themselves, so they don't know what they really want. So and that's just in life, period.
Wow.
So I feel like with business, with any type of relationship, I feel like first you need to know exactly who you are, and then I guess you can yoke yourself to somebody that is equally prepared as you are, and then from that point on, you just grow and you build foundations. You build rapport with that person, and I feel like that's just something that we are neglecting in the 2000s.
In general, yeah.
Before technology.
Really?
You know something, when you said what you just said, especially about being evenly yoked, and this is kind of like a passage from the Bible and so forth, and, like, I immediately just got chills all over my body, because it's like, it's truth that is just so old.
Yeah.
It is truth older than the Bible, that when you have two people pulling that same cart, and you don't have someone that's dragging you behind, you can do anything. You can do anything. And so I think that ultimately is, like, what I'm trying to create, that new culture, that new perception. Well, I mean, it's actually old. It's an old culture, but it's like reminding us of these old, like, traditional values, and reminding us that we all have to bring something to the table, that we can't just be like coming over with a plate, like, feed me. It's like, well, feed yourself first,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Fill in
You
your
know?
own cup.
Fill in your own cup. Pour in your own cup.
Oh
Right.
my God, yes.
I also
Man.
feel like the ownership thing
Yes.
takes a big play. Taking away a person's individuality, not allowing them to pursue their dreams and to become exactly who they want to be. And so I think that in a relationship, I heard it as saying, watering your plants, or watering somebody else. It's okay to give a little water to somebody, because even in the Bible, I'm not religious, but I do believe in just solid teachings or parables to be able to show us, like, over time things have changed, but one thing about us is, as humans, our nature doesn't change. Our nature of
Absolutely.
survival doesn't change. And
No.
so I feel like a lot of people need to get back to the roots.
Yes.
Back to the roots.
Yeah. I think that is you just beautifully said it, you know.
For
And
real.
and so there's so many layers to this problem, right? Like, because the depression and the loneliness, all of that was just highlighted during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody was like,
It
wow,
exposed it.
Oh,
I felt like it
yes.
exposed it.
right? There was light shine on the darkness and so forth. And that's basically what we're doing here, is really just shining light into the darkness, because there is I think that, like, especially in our current culture, in our current paradigm, a lot of the negative or a lot of the toxic perceptions are allowed to, like, just fruit up and go to the very top, and we kind of honor them and give them accolades, where, like, you know, when someone has values and value in themselves and traditions and stuff like that, it's not given as much credit, it's not given as much, like, love. And so, like, I feel like we're bringing it back, like,
Yes.
right now, just talking about it. So yeah. And Don, what's your thoughts?
I honestly feel as though that it's the perfect time, perfect era. I think that with social media and information technology and everyone's attention span being so short, and everyone's attention span being just like instant gratification, I think that this is necessary. I think that these are conversations that are had in private rooms, but they don't ever go anywhere. They don't have the verbiage or the terminology, or even the safe spaces to feel as though, like, they're not alone or someone else has experienced that. You know what I mean? So I think this is right on time. A lot of what JP said shed light onto it as being just not having yourself. Or being accountable for yourself. I wasn't always able to do that. A lot of times, like, you know, you got to be careful about pointing the finger at somebody, because there's three pointing right back at you. So I found that, like, I just had to reflect and be accountable for what I was bringing, what baggage I brought. It's a lot easier to talk about what people aren't doing. So then at first I was quiet. Then I just started doing the work like she was speaking about, just doing the work myself, so that I could, you know, attract better, right? Like attracts like. So for me, once I started doing that, I recognized that certain scenarios and certain environments don't necessarily warrant growth and development in certain facets of my life. So it's up to me to be able to gauge that and you know, spend my time there, or, as he said, pour into that, or keep the water for myself and keep nurturing myself to shed my light.
A whole wash day. I'm sorry, I'm y'all guys. You'll hear me say that a lot, but, like,
What does that mean, a whole wash day, for all of our listeners? Can you let them know what that is?
okay, well, it means I'm thanking you and I'm thanking God. Like, that is, like, you know, it's like, that is powerful what you just said, my friend. Like, that is really, really good. So
Right on.
I'm agreeing with you. And yeah.
And what language is that in?
That's Native American.
Okay.
Apache.
Apache. All right. Shout out. Shout out. Yeah. Right on. Right
Yeah,
on.
I'm a Lepon. I'm a part of the Lepon Apache tribe of Texas.
Nice.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
So
Yeah,
and so it's so important for us, like you both said so eloquently, to do the work, to remain responsible and accountable for our own behaviors. And, like, it always takes two, right, in a relationship. No matter, like, it's really easy to be at the end of the relationship that jerk or that B word or whatever, but the truth is, there was something about them that drew you to them, and vice versa. And so there was something unhealed or you know, within you, or vice versa. So it's like, they're all lessons. It's all one more stepping stone in our journey. And, like, think, like, that's something that's really important. Like, if you're talking bad about your ex, you know, you're really talking bad about yourself,
Right.
you know? Like, yeah, like, oh my God. So do y'all have any thoughts about that too?
Yes, definitely. You cannot control anybody. You can't make anybody change. I feel like too many people keep themselves in a situation trying to fix something. Everything can't be fixed.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you need to move on when it's time. You know,
Yes.
and the time shows itself. It presents itself clearly. I usually go with the arguments first. If you can't come to an understanding, that shows that you guys aren't like-minded. And so just goes back to, you know, equally yoked, you know, just really knowing when you're hurting somebody more than helping. So it's
Yeah.
like, if you love something, let it go.
Yes.
Wow.
Woo, that is
Man.
good. And Ashley, would you say that, you know, like, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think, like, so I've always thought, like, you know how you say, like, when you break up, especially it hurts. I've always been the one that breaks up with people, but it hurts when they break up with you, and then you think, what's wrong with me? So for a while, I thought something was wrong with me, and like, no, like sometimes it's not, like, you guys were not meant to be, and it was like, you have to know what you also want. A lot of people only go for looks, but like, what do you want in a person? The values, the morals, like, what do you guys believe in, like politics, whatever, everything. And like, some people just go, how I say, 3 to 6 months is the honeymoon.
The honeymoon
like love
phase.
is blind,
Right.
but they don't get to know the person. They just are like blinded. So I like learned that I want to get to know the person. So by 3 dates, you don't want to get to know me. Then that's not something I want, because I want to get to know you. If you're actually the person I want to be forever with, you know. And 3 days is not gonna tell me everything. And that's a lot of guys don't. Some of them don't want to try hard anymore when it comes to dating apps.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, on the reciprocal of that, like, there's some women that if in 3 days you're not some sort of financial provider for them, then it's like, well, we don't need to even keep on kicking. And I'm like, man, I don't know you. We're getting to know each other. So let me know you for like a month and a half. Know my middle name. Know something about my pedigree or my background. Yeah, before you start asking me to help pay for your phone bill or whatever. How do we get in a space to where you're so comfortable for asking strangers about your personal stuff?
Why do you need that?
Why do you need?
Because they're not.
Why are you in a space to where you're asking strangers for stuff? That man, character.
I think they're a lot of people are in a hurry because they're like, they think time is ticking. Like, oh, I'm in my 30s, so they wanna, if it's not next, you know, but no, like, sometimes you find the love of your life, or your 40s, 50s, 60s, like,
right.
It's better to get
Hoping
to know.
so.
Yeah, hoping all of us. But it's better to take your time than be with the wrong person because you rushed it and you had no, like, you didn't get the time to get to know each other.
Right.
Yeah.
That I mean, each one of y'all are saying very beautiful things and very poignant things. And there is this, to expand upon what you're saying, Ashley, is that, you know, because we've been so sexualized and more sexualized that, like, it's almost expected to have sex right away, the second or third or fourth date. Like, oh, she's not really interested, next. And it is expected for men to do the same thing. So it's like, you know, like, really, it's so important to have these conversations because the culture in the current paradigm is just like full head of steam, like just on the course, like going over the cliffside, and nobody's happy. And it's just these simple things like returning to certain values, or maybe not having sex on the third or the fourth or fifth date. Not that I'm shaming anybody who does.
Hey man, if the vibe is the vibe, sometimes, you know what I mean.
Whatever is.
Hey man, to each his own. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
no. But also respecting people, but also giving space for that to be there too, because that's probably where your healthy relationships are going to bloom from.
Yes.
Right.
You know, that's where, you know, when you don't immediately rush into and then all of a sudden, because we don't realize too, y'all guys, all those chemicals, all that like brain chemical, immediately bonds us to those people.
Literally.
So we're like on a chemical level, as soon as we're like having those sexual interactions, like their scent, their smell automatically are brain imprints.
And it could be trauma bonding. There's a difference
Wow.
between trauma bonding and real connection. And it's more powerful when it's real connection.
So what is trauma bonding?
Where like it's like you haven't gone to your, like, everyone has childhood trauma.
Right.
It all comes to the roots, how he said, and some haven't healed from it, and so you haven't done the work, so another person hasn't done the work, so you both are bonded, just you're blinded and done, but you both do the work, then you won't be blinded and you have a real connection because you did your work.
Is that like the meme that like we're not good for each other, but our demons get along? Is that what that is?
That sounds
Is that what that, like,
right.
trauma bonding?
Yes.
I just wanted to correlate and associate for me. Thank
That
you.
just makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, that's the picture I'm
I mean, it could be
seeing.
fun, but
No,
in the
it's
end,
fun. You
in
know
the
what
end,
I'm
we're
saying?
crying, and we're
Yeah,
like,
well, that's not so fun.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And I think that's like you know, misery loves company.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, misery loves company. So it's like, you know, you can help me get through this, but people don't understand. Like that's part of the self-reflection. That's the first thing that you have to do is fix yourself. And so, but even then, honestly, it's always. Sometimes I feel like unless, because there's, you have to be smart as well. You have to have the mind of discernment. You have to be able to discern the talker from the doer. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people who can sell a life but can't live the life.
Ooh, dang!
Yes.
Oh my
Did
God!
y'all catch that?
Fire in here.
Did you catch
Yeah.
that?
Wow! Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, you have spoken so many beautiful truths tonight. Where did you? Thank you, Don.
Hey man,
Thank you so much.
that's the universe, man.
You know,
I
I
put
mean,
my good energy out there, man. I'm just being
We're
my
attract-
authentic self, and
we're
authentic things
attracting-
are coming, man.
We
so.
are. We
Yeah,
are.
that's
and
what that
and
is.
yeah. I mean, I feel like I have also brought some beautiful,
100%.
amazing.
100%, 100%,
You know,
yeah.
and that is a very good point that you bring up is like, being a talker or actually walking the walk. And like, I feel like there's been so many times in past relationships too where I have been like, oh my God, this person's everything I want them to be. They work out, they do this, and then like we actually start to cohabitate or we start to live together and we build a relationship, and it's like, maybe you used to be like this, but
Man.
like now I'm not seeing this, so it's like
They get comfortable sometimes.
yeah. Well, it's also
Or
like
reliant.
or reliant.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hey, those are accountability words right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but like I said again, like well, no one's perfect here.
Yeah.
We're all at different levels of our journey,
Yes.
and I think it's just respecting. It's like we can't be in our ivory tower saying, "Oh, I'm so better than you," but it's like you also want someone who, especially if you're going to be in a relationship,
Yes.
to be at least at the same level, if not
Yes.
higher, so you can be like, "Oh, I want to be like this person. I want to reach to where they're reaching."
And you want someone that's pushing you to get better. Like you both are growing, Even if the other one needs more, but he's willing to put the work. Like, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not there, come on. But again, that's another trap. Sometimes I think we see people's potential.
Yeah.
We see
Yeah,
people's
trajectory.
potential.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm big with trajectory. Like I like to look at people. Like even with my businesses, I usually see people who have potential to be great. I've had women that I don't think any woman is bad or any man is bad. I think that it's either you haven't been exposed to the thing that's going to change you, or you haven't changed, because evolution is real. So the mind evolves, the body evolves, all things evolve, and so I think that it's really just seeds being planted. Sometimes you
Yeah.
can be in a person's life just to plant the seed.
Woo.
And once you plant that seed and you make you can be a mirror for somebody, because at the end of the day, like, we all go through the same walk of life. It's just at different stages and different times. So like I can look at some people and say, hey, I know exactly where you're at. I can relate, and so it makes it safer for me, because not even safer, but it makes it easier for me to maneuver through a lot of false perceptions or false realities, because I can tell you, like, I've been there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, T-shirt
Yes.
for the
Yeah.
memory too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to just say one thing too. It's like, as we start to do that, as we start to clean up our own energy, and as we start being the example and stuff like that, we are leveling up everyone around us, because
Yes.
you've done the work, you've got the downloads, creator spoke to you, and it's just like, there isn't anyone that's going to be in your presence that isn't going to feel that, and otherwise they're going to have to leave. And wow, y'all guys, I am just, this conversation, this is like amazing. This conversation is
Right.
going. We were talking about beautiful people and dispelling the myth, but I think that, again, it's the overlying thing, like the deeper issues that are like really poignant in the present time in our society, and it's so important that we heal these wounds, y'all guys. Like, as a collective, it's like, so that we can have this next generation maybe not have to deal with so much.
Yes.
And I was
Go ahead. No,
I was also thinking, like, understanding the role of the feminine being and the role of the masculine being. I think that on the man's side, a lot of men aren't allowing women to be women, and a lot of women aren't allowing men to be
Yes.
men.
Man.
So I think the roles have been flipped and misinterpreted, just because like we don't have enough people focusing on their role.
Man.
You know, and some people can't, you know, because if you came from a household where you're not used to having a father figure, or you're not used to having a mother, to a man being nurtured to show him how to love, you know, then he has to go through the steps himself, because at the end of the day, you were born into this world alone. So no matter whether you have the help or you don't have the help, like, you still have to face the fact that you have to change, you have to grow, you have to do these things that are required to live. Like it's like money, like in life is the slot. Like you have to put the energy into your life to make it, you know, to get that prize.
Powerful,
Yeah.
powerful. Oh my God.
Jordan Promise, everybody.
yeah, no
that part.
kidding.
Yeah,
no kidding.
yeah. Pull up.
Woo!
Yeah,
Woo!
yeah.
You know, wow. And you know, that is actually what we're going to be discussing in the following podcast, is really kind of touching into the divine masculine and divine feminine, seeing the negative and the positives that are in our current paradigm. And what the role of our original caregivers, you know, that's y'all guys, that's in our next podcast that we're doing. But yeah, like, because like, yeah, I could, but that's another episode.
Yeah, that's another episode.
That's another episode. Oh my God, y'all guys. I just want to thank y'all so much.
Seriously, guys.
Oh my God, this has been, I would love to have y'all back on the show for sure.
Yeah.
Because this is a conversation that we need to keep
going,
having.
yeah.
It needs to keep being, because no one's having it.
At
No one's
all.
having it.
At all.
And it's so quintessential in our, you know, our own personal development, from like the macro and the micro, right? Like as we heal, we all heal. As one of us rises, we all rise up. So it's like, it's so pertinent to have these conversations in a safe space like that between the masculine and the feminine. It's so important to really shine the light on the darkness, you know, and so that we can rise.
Yes.
Y'all guys. Oh my God. Woo! Oh God. Okay, well I wanna talk to our audience real quick too. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Holistic Love. You know, thank you for Ashley. Thank you so much, Don. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Your words really have touched the very bottom of my heart. I mean, I felt everything you said.
Thank you.
And so I hope that you guys are also paying attention and also doing the work, and know that you are not just worthy of love, you deserve love, and we got to do that first. We got to give that love to ourselves first. And I know in 2024, I'm going to see so many more reflections of what healthy, divine love look like. Oh my God. So just thank you so much. Y'all have a great, great day.